7 evident signs that there is an evil woman next to you. Stoic philosophy, Stoicism. Some women light up a room when they enter, while others, well, the room feels lighter when they leave. This isn't about resentment or blame, it's about clarity. If you've lived long enough, you know not everyone who smiles at you is a friend, and not every touch is meant to comfort. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in appearances and charm. Life's too short to invest in people, especially women, who drain you, confuse you, or leave you questioning your worth. On this episode of Stoic in Your Life, we'll explore 7 unmistakable signs that there might be a toxic woman in your life. With the wisdom of modern Stoicism and Stoic secrets, you'll learn how to recognize these traits and protect your peace. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. And I'd add, it also depends on the people you allow in your life. Let's get started. Number 1. She's always the victim. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where it feels like someone is always playing the victim, no matter the circumstances? It's draining, isn't it? You start by being sympathetic, offering a listening ear to someone who seems to be struggling, only to realize that it's not about support, it's about control. Let me explain. A woman who constantly portrays herself as a victim, whether in relationships, friendships, or family matters, can slowly start to entangle you in her emotional web. At first, it seems like she's just venting her frustrations, but as time goes on, it becomes clear that the pattern repeats itself. It's not that she's looking for solutions or healing. Rather, she's looking for someone to shoulder her emotional burdens. This can feel overwhelming, as you may find yourself constantly trying to rescue her from her self-imposed chaos. The problem here isn't just about lending a hand, it's about being dragged into an endless cycle where her narrative revolves around being wronged by everyone around her. It's a never-ending story, and the worst part is, she never takes accountability for her actions. It's always someone else's fault, and you, by extension, become the emotional caretaker. Over time, this takes a toll on your peace of mind. Stoic philosophy offers a valuable lesson here. We are only responsible for our own thoughts, actions, and emotions, not those of others. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So, what can you do in these situations? Well, the Stoic approach would be to focus on what you can control, your own reactions, your emotional boundaries, and your peace. You must recognize when someone is clinging to their victimhood and refuses to heal. This doesn't mean abandoning them, but rather protecting your own mental and emotional space. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to lose sight of your inner peace. The key takeaway from Stoicism is this: don't let others' emotional turmoil derail your own tranquility. You can offer support, but you are not obligated to carry their burdens. It takes wisdom to step back when needed, and in doing so, you protect not just your mental health but your ability to truly live a fulfilling life. Have you ever thought about how much control you have over your own peace? Or how often you might get caught up in someone else's emotional drama? You see, the Stoic way isn't about being cold or detached, it's about being intentional with your energy. By focusing on what is within your control, your thoughts, your actions, your response to others, you free yourself from the never-ending emotional roller coaster. In a world where emotional manipulation can feel like a constant force, Stoicism offers a peaceful refuge. It's a reminder that we have the power to define how we respond and the strength to protect our peace, no matter what is happening around us. Next time you feel the emotional pull of someone's victim mentality, ask yourself, am I being drawn into their emotional drama, or am I maintaining my peace? It's a question worth reflecting on. After all, as the Stoics teach us, true strength lies in mastering our reactions, not in fixing everyone else's problems. Number 2. She's addicted to drama. Certain behaviors can indicate the presence of a toxic individual in your life, and one of the most recognizable traits is their addiction to drama. For some people, peace and stability are not calming, but rather anxiety-inducing. These individuals thrive on chaos and are often inclined to stir up unnecessary conflict, especially when things around them are calm. It could be something as trivial as a delayed text message, which, in their eyes, turns into a personal offense or a sign of neglect. What was meant to be a peaceful evening with loved ones can quickly descend into an argument, with the individual at the center, demanding all the attention. In such moments, you might find yourself attempting to soothe their emotions, to fix the situation, and feeling as if it's your responsibility to resolve the issue. But what you may not realize is that this is precisely their goal: to maintain control over the situation and keep you emotionally engaged, feeding into their chaos. From a Stoic perspective, this behavior is a form of emotional manipulation. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us that our emotions are within our control, and that external circumstances do not dictate our emotional state. When someone stirs up chaos or seeks to manipulate you emotionally, it's important to recognize that they are trying to provoke a reaction from you. The Stoic response, however, is not to react impulsively. Instead, it is to remain calm, centered, and unshaken by external events. The key in such situations is not to get sucked into the emotional whirlwind. Instead, practice detachment and observe without becoming emotionally entangled. Focus on what you can control, your peace of mind. Of course, this isn't always easy. The urge to help or fix things, especially when you're emotionally invested, can be strong. But the Stoic secret here is recognizing that no matter how much you want to assist someone else with their emotional turmoil, you cannot do so at the expense of your own tranquility. The drama you're being drawn into may not be as significant as it seems at first. It's your emotional reaction to the situation that amplifies it. By maintaining a more objective perspective, you can see that much of the drama is rooted in perception, not reality. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in emotional storms. Whether it's at home, in the workplace, or within friendships, drama can invade your life in many forms. The key is not to fight every emotional battle or get involved in every conflict, but to cultivate resilience and mental discipline. When you allow yourself to become emotionally invested in every upheaval, you lose your internal peace and ultimately, your sense of control. The Stoic approach is to focus on what truly matters: your own actions and reactions, not the unpredictable behavior of others. By adopting this mindset, you free yourself from the endless cycle of emotional turmoil and reclaim your sense of inner peace. This wisdom is especially relevant in the modern world, where social media and constant communication often amplify minor conflicts into major dramas. The Stoic secret lies in distancing yourself from this external noise, being selective about what you engage with, and always returning to the knowledge that you are the master of your own reactions. By doing so, you avoid becoming a prisoner of external chaos and instead lead a life of purpose, tranquility, and focus. So the next time you're faced with someone addicted to drama, remember, you have the power to choose how you respond, and by doing so, you choose your peace. Number 3. She controls you through guilt. In modern life, emotional manipulation is an issue that many of us encounter, especially in relationships where someone seeks to control or influence the other person's behavior and choices. One of the most subtle and effective tactics employed by some individuals, particularly women in certain cases, is the use of guilt as a means of emotional control. This manipulative tactic is designed to make you feel responsible for their emotional well-being, leading you to question and doubt your own choices, actions, and desires. It might start with small gestures, when you prioritize your personal needs or take time for yourself. She may react with disappointment or sadness. Over time, you may start to feel as though you are neglecting her or not living up to her expectations. This emotional manipulation creates a powerful sense of guilt, even when you haven't done anything wrong, causing you to second-guess your own needs and desires. As the guilt intensifies, you may find yourself rearranging your schedule, canceling plans, or compromising your own happiness just to avoid further disappointment. This constant self-sacrifice can leave you feeling drained and overwhelmed, as you constantly put someone else's emotional comfort above your own well-being. According to Stoicism, we cannot control other people's emotions, but we have complete control over how we choose to respond. Guilt, while a powerful emotion, is often used to undermine your peace of mind and make you reactive. When we allow guilt to dictate our actions, we lose our autonomy, becoming slaves to the emotional needs of others. The key to breaking free from this pattern lies in recognizing what is within our control and what is not. While you cannot control how someone else feels or behaves, you can control how you respond. This is where setting clear emotional boundaries becomes crucial. By practicing detachment, remaining emotionally detached from their guilt trips, you can respond with clarity, reason, and compassion, without allowing their emotions to dictate your actions. This doesn't mean being cold or indifferent, but rather ensuring that you stay true to your own values and integrity. You should not have to sacrifice your happiness or peace of mind to avoid someone else's discomfort. The more you practice this, the stronger your ability will be to maintain emotional sovereignty, even in the face of manipulative guilt. In modern Stoicism, this approach not only helps you preserve your integrity, but also offers a path toward emotional freedom. It empowers you to make decisions based on your own principles rather than the whims and emotional expectations of others. Life is full of unpredictable situations, and people will inevitably test your emotional boundaries. However, Stoic philosophy teaches us to approach these tests with wisdom, calm, and self-control, rather than reacting impulsively or emotionally. The next time you feel the pull of guilt in response to someone else's emotional manipulation, take a moment to step back and reflect on your core values. Ask yourself, is this guilt mine to carry, or am I being manipulated into taking responsibility for someone else's feelings? By living in alignment with Stoic principles, you free yourself from the emotional burdens that others may try to impose on you, becoming a model of Stoic resilience in a world full of emotional entanglements. You've just explored 3 clear signs that a woman might be emotionally manipulating you, right? If you found this information useful or interesting, feel free to leave a comment saying helpful or interesting, so we know you're enjoying the content and eager to explore more topics like this. We'd love to hear your feedback, and don't forget to stick around for more exciting content coming your way. Number 4, she lacks empathy. If you've ever encountered a toxic individual, you might have experienced how their energy can drain you. Among the signs that someone may not be good for you, one stands out: a lack of empathy. Have you ever tried to share something personal or difficult with someone, only to find them brush it off or shift the focus to their own struggles? It's a frustrating and isolating experience, isn't it? A woman who cannot empathize might seem detached, and when you open up, she may show little understanding. Instead of offering comfort or care, she dismisses your emotions, possibly even minimizing your feelings or ignoring them altogether. This leaves you feeling emotionally unsupported and lonely, even when you're in the same room. This is something we can all relate to in varying degrees, but let's dive deeper into how Stoic philosophy can help us navigate these relationships. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius emphasize the importance of empathy and compassion in our daily lives. Empathy is a vital part of maintaining meaningful relationships. Yet, when someone shows a lack of empathy, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and accept the things we cannot. If she lacks emotional capacity to support you, there's no shame in reassessing your relationship. After all, why invest emotional energy into a bond that isn't reciprocated? Stoic secrets remind us that our peace of mind comes from managing our expectations and actions rather than relying on others to meet our emotional needs. If she doesn't offer the support you need, it's okay to step back. Consider this. When you are met with someone's indifference or emotional coldness, ask yourself, is it worth trying to change their nature? Often people like this are who they are because of their own internal struggles, which are beyond your control. Rather than wishing for someone to change, Stoicism would have you focus inward, adjusting your expectations and understanding. If you find yourself in such a relationship, it's a reminder that your peace is your responsibility. Let's reflect on a personal example. Imagine you're working alongside someone at a job, and you face a tough project that's draining. You expect support from your coworker, but instead they keep talking about their own unrelated issues. The emotional burden starts to feel too heavy, right? This is a practical moment where Stoic principles apply. What can you control in this situation? You can control your reaction to their lack of support. You can choose how much emotional energy you invest in this interaction. The goal is not to change the coworker, but to adjust your perspective and seek support elsewhere. And this brings us back to the Stoic idea that our reactions define us, not the actions of others. It's essential to recognize when someone's emotional shortcomings are a reflection of their own life challenges, rather than a personal attack on you. We cannot expect everyone to meet our emotional needs, and that's okay. We can control how we respond, and we must do so with wisdom and self-awareness. What lessons can we take from this? First, understand that you are not responsible for others' emotional capabilities. If someone cannot meet you emotionally, it's not a failure of yours, but a reflection of where they are in life. Secondly, evaluate the relationships in your life. Are they nurturing and supportive, or are they draining and one-sided? If it's the latter, consider what you can control to maintain your emotional well-being. To summarize, Stoic philosophy reminds us that empathy is a valuable trait we must cultivate for ourselves, but we shouldn't expect it from everyone. If someone lacks empathy, it's crucial to recognize that it's beyond your control and to focus on your own peace and emotional health. Stoic secrets reveal that our peace comes from within, and we must protect it by wisely navigating the relationships that surround us. Number 5. She's obsessed with superficial things. Imagine this. You find yourself spending time with someone whose every word and action makes you question your self-worth. This is the reality of being in the company of someone who thrives on superficiality. It's a subtle but telling dynamic that leaves you feeling drained and insecure. One of the most noticeable signs of such a presence is when someone becomes obsessed with the external. Whether it's looks, material possessions, or social status, they measure their value based on these things, and unfortunately, they expect you to do the same. You've probably met people like this, those who gauge their self-worth on how they look, the brand of clothing they wear, or the number of followers they have online. A woman who lives by these shallow standards places all her worth and judgment on things that are, in the grand scheme of life, fleeting. She may judge you based on what you own, how much money you make, or how popular you are. But, in doing so, she never truly sees you for who you are at your core. Over time, this becomes emotionally exhausting. No matter how much you do for her, how hard you try, or how much you provide, it will never be enough. She is constantly chasing external validation from people, things, or experiences that hold no true substance. Stoicism warns us against relying on external validation for our happiness. When you seek validation from things outside of yourself, you give away your power. The pursuit of constant validation is not only exhausting, but ultimately hollow. What's particularly heartbreaking is the inevitable dissatisfaction that accompanies this mindset. When someone ties their happiness to things like material wealth, physical appearance, or the approval of others, they miss out on the deeper, more enduring sources of happiness. Stoics like Epictetus teach us that true fulfillment comes from within, not from what we possess. As Epictetus once said, "It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." Let me ask you, how often do you find yourself measuring your worth by external factors? Are you allowing someone else's obsession with appearances to shape how you feel about yourself? The Stoic path teaches us to detach from these illusions. When you allow yourself to become too attached to external validation, you open the door to disappointment and frustration. But there is hope. The solution lies in setting boundaries, not only with others but with how you view yourself. You deserve to be valued for who you truly are, not for what you own or the fleeting praise you receive from others. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Don't hanker after what you don't have. Be content with what you have." True happiness, lasting happiness, comes from personal growth, inner peace, and cultivating virtues such as courage, wisdom, and justice. This is the essence of modern Stoicism, finding strength and happiness within your character, not in material possessions. What do you think? Will you continue to let the opinions of others define your worth? Or will you take the step toward living by your own internal compass grounded in Stoic wisdom? It's time to take back control of what truly matters. Remember, the most important thing is not what others think of you, but how you think of yourself. Number 6. She can't admit she's wrong. In relationships, we often find ourselves facing individuals who cannot admit when they're wrong, and this behavior is especially noticeable when a woman continuously avoids taking responsibility for her actions. At the heart of this tendency is often a deep-seated insecurity and an overwhelming need to protect one's ego. A woman who consistently refuses to acknowledge her mistakes may resort to twisting facts, deflecting blame, or even manipulating the situation to the point of gaslighting you, making you doubt your own understanding of the events. This type of behavior can create a frustrating cycle, as it prevents growth, understanding, and resolution in the relationship. Whether the issue at hand is a minor disagreement or a major conflict, dealing with someone who is unwilling to accept their fault can make it nearly impossible to engage in meaningful, productive communication. It becomes a barrier to resolving issues and nurturing the bond between both parties. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, however, provides us with a crucial lesson in handling such situations. He teaches that wisdom and growth come from the ability to recognize and accept our own mistakes. Admitting our faults allows us to learn and evolve, both individually and within our relationships. When we humbly acknowledge our shortcomings, we not only demonstrate maturity, but also foster deeper connections and a greater sense of mutual respect. This acceptance of imperfection, both in ourselves and others, is essential for any meaningful relationship to thrive. When someone, especially a partner, refuses to take responsibility for their actions, it creates a significant barrier to mutual respect and prevents progress. The path of Stoicism emphasizes the importance of self-awareness and the courage to be vulnerable. In a world where pride often takes precedence, being able to admit fault is not a sign of weakness, but one of strength. It is an act of courage to acknowledge our imperfections and take responsibility for them. If you find yourself constantly in a dynamic where the other person is deflecting blame and avoiding responsibility, it's essential to stay grounded in your perspective. Don't get swept away by defensive arguments or manipulative tactics. Stay firm in your truth, but also approach the situation with wisdom. Consider whether this relationship dynamic is sustainable. Relationships built on honesty and mutual respect can weather many storms, but those that are founded on avoidance and deflection often lead to frustration and resentment. In these situations, it's often best to maintain composure, stick to your values, and choose peace over conflict. The Stoic approach is not to engage in endless arguments, but to decide whether the relationship, as it is something you can endure in the long term. If you find that you cannot, it may be time to reassess and prioritize your emotional health. and well-being. By applying these Stoic principles and secrets, you can transform even the most challenging relationships into opportunities for personal growth, self-awareness, and deeper understanding. Number 7. She disrespects your time. In today's fast-paced world, time has become one of our most valuable resources, and how others treat it can reveal a lot about their respect for us. Our time is limited, and the way people treat it can either enhance or detract from our lives. Imagine someone who is consistently late, cancels plans without offering a valid explanation, or fails to prioritize your time. Over time, this behavior can feel not only frustrating, but also deeply disrespectful. It sends a message that your time isn't important, and this can slowly chip away at your sense of self-worth. It's easy to tolerate this kind of treatment at first, but the more it happens, the more it becomes a drain on your emotional energy. In Stoic philosophy, we are frequently reminded that time, once lost, cannot be reclaimed. Each moment that passes is gone forever, and how we choose to spend it should be in alignment with our values, personal growth, and aspirations. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, put it beautifully when he said, "Time is a sort of river of passing events and strong as its current, for in the same stream things are ever flowing and never returning." This powerful statement serves as a reminder that every second counts, and time, once passed, will never return. It urges us to use it wisely, focusing on what truly matters to us and cutting out the distractions that might otherwise consume it. When someone disrespects your time, it signals a lack of respect for you as a person, your life, and your goals. In many cases, it's easy to fall into the trap of making excuses for their behavior. We might tell ourselves maybe they were just busy, or they didn't mean it. While this may sometimes be true, continuously allowing these excuses to take precedence only enables a cycle of disregard that erodes your patience and respect for yourself. According to Stoic principles, it's crucial to set boundaries and protect your time as you would any other precious resource. Time is not something you can afford to waste, and the people you allow into your life should recognize that. Boundaries are critical when it comes to guarding your time. Setting clear limits. Around your schedule, not apologizing for needing your time, is essential in building a life that reflects your values. If someone continues to disregard your time, it may be necessary to pause and reflect on the relationship. Does this relationship serve your growth? Is it contributing positively to your life? Or is it taking more from you than it's giving? As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely stated, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This quote reminds us that the freedom to determine how we spend our time lies with us. No one else should have the power to dictate this. In a world filled with distractions, it's easy to get caught up in the demands and expectations of others. Yet, modern Stoicism teaches that we must choose our commitments carefully, focusing on those that align with our deeper values and long-term goals. When someone repeatedly shows a lack of consideration for your time, it's not simply an issue of bad manners. It's a matter of your personal well-being being compromised. It undermines your growth and focus, and ultimately, it can leave you feeling drained. To fully embrace the wisdom of the Stoics, it's important to understand the value of your time and to set firm boundaries. Reflect on how you spend your days and whether your relationships and commitments are enhancing or detracting from your life's purpose. Time is fleeting, and each moment you spend on people or things that don't align with your values is a moment you'll never get back. By respecting your time and holding others accountable for how they treat it, you honor your own personal growth, your goals, and the values you hold dear. Now that you've made it halfway through this video, I want to take a moment to congratulate you on your dedication to becoming a better version of yourself. This journey of growth takes effort, and I truly appreciate your commitment. I would also like to humbly ask for your support by leaving a comment. It really helps my channel grow. If you're unsure of what to comment, simply type "respect your time" so I know you've reached this part of the video. And don't forget to subscribe for more insightful content like this. As we've explored these 7 signs of a toxic woman, it's essential to recognize them in order to protect your well-being. However, awareness alone isn't enough. Moving forward, let's delve into how to handle such situations and foster healthier relationships. Understanding these signs is just the beginning. Now, let's look at actionable ways to confront and overcome them in the next section. How to deal with these signs and toxic relationships. Now that we understand the destructive behaviors that can arise from toxic relationships, it's crucial to explore the Stoic approach to managing them. The Stoic philosophy emphasizes self-control, resilience, and maintaining inner peace, principles that can guide us through these challenges. Let's take a deeper dive into practical strategies for preserving our emotional and mental well-being while navigating these difficult dynamics. Stay tuned as we uncover practical steps for healthier relationships and a stronger sense of self. Number 1. Focus on self-control and inner peace. In the world of Stoic philosophy, a key teaching that resonates deeply is the idea of self-control and inner peace, especially when faced with manipulative or emotionally volatile people. Imagine you're surrounded by someone who constantly plays the victim and drags you into their emotional chaos. It's easy to become swept up in their drama, but Stoicism encourages you to stay grounded in your own emotions. The Stoic secret here is that while you cannot control someone else's behavior, you do have full control over your response. This self-awareness is vital. It's not about suppressing your feelings, but ensuring that they don't control your actions. When she tries to make you feel responsible for her emotional state, instead of reacting with anger or guilt, remind yourself that you are not the source of her suffering. She is. By focusing on your own inner peace, you create a buffer between her turmoil and your calm. This can be incredibly empowering because it helps you stay calm, think clearly, and make better decisions. I've been through this myself. There was a time when I was constantly pulled into someone's emotional roller coaster, feeling exhausted and frustrated. But as I began to embrace Stoic practices like journaling and meditation, I realized the power of controlling my reactions. It was like finding a clear, still pond amidst a storm. When you practice self-control, you protect not just your mental peace but also your emotional well-being from toxic influences. I remember a particular moment when I refrained from reacting to an emotional outburst from someone close to me. Instead of engaging, I focused on my breath, stayed calm, and let the situation pass. It was freeing, and I realized that the Stoic secret to dealing with emotional manipulation was simply not to be dragged into it. This practice isn't easy, but as you train your mind to focus on what you can control, you'll find that these situations don't have as much power over you anymore. The more you cultivate inner peace, the more resilient you become in the face of emotional storms. And through this practice, you start to see that you don't have to react emotionally to every provocation. You can choose to remain calm, to protect your peace, and to handle the situation with the clarity of mind that Stoicism advocates. When you think about it, isn't this a lesson we can all learn from? How often do we allow others to stir us up, to control our emotional state? How might it feel to be able to let go of the need to fix others and instead focus on controlling our own emotional responses? This is the core of Stoic wisdom, understanding that while we can't control others, we can always control ourselves. This simple yet profound truth can completely transform how we deal with challenging people in our lives. The Stoic path isn't about avoiding emotions or detaching from human experience. It's about accepting the reality of those emotions while choosing how to respond, not letting them dictate our behavior. Practicing self-control doesn't mean denying your feelings. It means recognizing that those feelings don't have to control you. When you find yourself in the presence of someone who tries to manipulate or provoke you, Remember the Stoic secret. You always have the power to control how you respond. By focusing on your inner peace, you ensure that you can handle life's challenges with grace and resilience. This is the strength that Stoicism offers us, and it's a power you can tap into every day. Number 2. Build relationships based on mutual respect. Building a strong, healthy relationship is not just about love. It's about mutual respect, trust, and understanding. If you're in a relationship where emotional chaos seems to rule, where your needs are constantly dismissed or where manipulation is used to control you, it's time to take a step back and reevaluate things. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're made to feel small, as if your emotions or concerns don't matter? This is a serious red flag, and it's essential to recognize it early. Respect, after all, isn't a one-way street. Both partners must contribute to creating a space where trust and understanding can thrive. Without this, the foundation of your relationship begins to crack. Let's talk about this. If you notice that the other person thrives on drama or constantly shifts blame onto you, it's a glaring sign that respect is missing. I'm sure you've encountered someone who doesn't take responsibility for their actions and tries to make you feel like everything is your fault. It's exhausting, isn't it? When a woman uses emotional chaos as a tool for control, it signals that something deeper is wrong. Relationships should bring balance and peace into our lives, not chaos. You deserve someone who respects your needs, your boundaries, and your personal space. If she continually disregards all of this, then it's time to reflect. Remember, respect is non-negotiable. As Stoicism teaches us, we must always maintain our dignity and self-respect no matter how others behave. This is where the power of modern Stoicism comes into play. In times of turmoil, you are in control of how you react, how you maintain your inner peace. So think about it. Are you truly happy in this relationship? Or is your peace being compromised by someone who doesn't care for your well-being? Take a moment to ask yourself that. It might be uncomfortable, but it's necessary. In these situations, clear communication is key. Open and honest conversations about what you expect in a relationship can set the tone for what's to come. But what happens when these conversations fall on deaf ears? What happens when you express your needs, your desires for respect, and the other person dismisses them? It's then that you must have the courage to distance yourself if necessary. Remember, no one, no matter how much they may mean to you, should have the power to undermine your self-worth. Relationships at their core should empower both partners to grow, to become better versions of themselves. They should not deplete your energy or your self-esteem. Ask yourself, is this relationship lifting me up or pulling me down? If it's the latter, then it's time to reassess. The practice of modern Stoicism is all about taking ownership of your life and your emotions. You deserve a relationship that is built on mutual respect, where both of you support each other's growth and well-being. If that's not the case, don't be afraid to walk away. In the words of Epictetus, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. It's not always easy to walk away, but know that you have the strength to do so. It's about taking control of your life and not allowing anyone to diminish your value. You are responsible for your own happiness, and you must stand firm in that truth. Never forget that. So I ask you again, how is your relationship affecting you? Does it bring peace, or is it full of emotional turmoil? Reflect on this, and trust yourself to make the right decision. Number 3. Reevaluate your goals and values. It's crucial, almost imperative, that you regularly take a step back and reassess your goals and values to ensure they align with the kind of relationships you're cultivating. Too often, we get caught up in external expectations, what others think of us, what they want from us, or how they judge us based on superficial things. But when you're involved with someone who holds a strong focus on material wealth or social status, it can easily cloud your own understanding of what truly matters to you. You may find that she measures your worth not by your character or your integrity, but by the things you possess or the circles you move in. This can be a dangerous path, especially if you find yourself slowly starting to seek validation from external sources instead of relying on your own inner compass. Such relationships can lead to a sense of disconnection from the deeper values that should drive you. You might begin to feel like you're not enough, as if your worth is tied to things that are ultimately fleeting: money, status, appearances. Stoicism, however, teaches us something fundamentally different: that virtue, self-mastery, and personal growth are far more important than outward circumstances. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And this is at the heart of the Stoic philosophy. True happiness and fulfillment come from within, not from how much you own or the approval you seek from others. When you allow someone to judge you by superficial measures, you're giving them the power to define your worth. A person who is obsessed with appearances or wealth will never understand or appreciate the intrinsic qualities that define who you are. Qualities like your character, your integrity, and the strength of your values. These qualities can never be bought or sold. They come from a lifetime of self-discipline and reflection, of being true to oneself and one's principles, no matter what the world around you values. This is why it's essential to reaffirm your values and stay true to them. It's not just a matter of personal growth, but of protecting your sense of self-worth from being eroded by external pressures. Align your relationships with those who understand and value you for the essence of who you are, not just the material things you may have or the social status you hold. The right people will value your integrity, your ambition, and your character. These are the people with whom you should surround yourself. By doing this, you build a life rooted in substance and authenticity, where your value is not contingent on fleeting validation from others. This is one of the most powerful Stoic secrets. Maintaining a strong, unwavering focus on your inner values provides you with the stability and peace you need, no matter what chaos might swirl around you. When you're true to yourself, you're less likely to be swayed by the fleeting judgments or shallow expectations of others. You become grounded in your own beliefs and understanding, and this allows you to navigate through life with resilience. As you move forward in your relationships, always remember, you can never allow someone else's perception of you to define your worth. Your value comes from who you are, not from what others think of you. When you live according to your true values, you break free from the tyranny of external judgment. Instead, you establish deeper, more meaningful connections with people who recognize and respect the real you. So take a step back, reflect on your values, and ensure that the relationships you nurture are aligned with the person you are becoming, not the person others want you to be. In the end, it's your inner character, your integrity, and your commitment to your values that will truly define you. And that's the only measure of success that truly matters. Let me ask you, are you ready to take control of your life and build meaningful relationships based on who you truly are? Now is the time to act. Don't let external opinions or judgments determine your worth. Like this video and drop your thoughts in the comments below. I define my worth. Number 4. Maintain calmness in all situations. When dealing with emotional manipulation, staying calm and composed is crucial. There may be times when a woman refuses to acknowledge her mistakes, continuously shifting the blame onto you or others. This behavior can be frustrating and challenging, especially when she tries to provoke an emotional response from you. The key to handling this effectively is practicing emotional detachment, a concept deeply rooted in modern Stoicism. As Stoics, we are taught that external events should not disturb our inner peace. Instead, it is our reaction to those events that truly defines us. Imagine a situation where you're caught in a conversation where she refuses to accept responsibility for her actions or words. The natural instinct might be to argue, to correct her, or to become defensive. But this is exactly what she wants. She's attempting to provoke you into an emotional reaction. In these moments, I urge you to take a deep breath and remember what the Stoics have taught us. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. These words from Seneca highlight that the turmoil we feel is often more about how we perceive the situation than the actual reality of it. Rather than getting drawn into a heated argument, the wisest course of action is to maintain your composure. Silence at times can be your most powerful tool. By simply choosing to stay silent or to calmly and assertively express your point of view without aggression, you take control of the situation. You're not letting her words or actions dictate your emotional state. This is the essence of modern Stoicism, detaching yourself from the drama and choosing to remain unshaken in your beliefs and actions. In these moments, step back, pause, and reflect before reacting. Recognize that you are in control of your emotions, and you have the ability to choose how to respond. Don't allow her attempts to manipulate you or provoke you into losing your cool. By practicing emotional detachment, you not only avoid escalating the conflict but also maintain your dignity and self-control. This is what it means to be truly strong. In today's world, where many situations can be charged with negativity, taking a step back and staying grounded in your emotional stability is often the wisest decision. This approach does more than just protect your inner peace. It sends a clear message that you are not easily swayed by emotional manipulation. Women, or anyone for that matter, who try to manipulate others with emotional games, quickly learn that they cannot easily provoke you, and this changes the dynamic of your interactions. You remain steady, calm, and in control, and this is not only empowering but also deeply attractive. It shows that you're someone who stands firm in their beliefs, someone who values peace over conflict, and this is a strength that will help you navigate many of life's challenges. To sum it up, practicing emotional detachment, a principle embedded in Stoic philosophy, will help you remain calm in all situations. Remember, you have the power to control your reactions. So, in moments of manipulation or provocation, always choose the path of calm and quiet strength. By doing this, you'll not only protect your peace, but also avoid unnecessary drama, creating a healthier, more controlled environment for yourself. Number 5. Set clear boundaries and be consistent. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful tools for protecting your peace and emotional well-being. Think about how often you've felt drained or manipulated by someone who constantly disregards your time or energy. It's frustrating, especially when dealing with a toxic person, like an evil woman who tries to control or manipulate you. One of the key Stoic secrets for handling these situations is setting clear and firm boundaries. Have you ever really thought about how vital boundaries are for your mental and emotional health? Boundaries aren't about being cold, they're about respecting yourself. By setting them, you show that your time, emotions, and energy are valuable, and anyone who truly cares for you will respect that. I'll share a story. A while ago, I had a friend who always canceled plans last minute or showed up late without any apology. Over time, I felt like my time didn't matter, and it was draining. So I decided to speak up. I told her calmly but firmly that I valued our friendship, but I couldn't continue to invest in it if she didn't respect my time. She understood, and things changed. That conversation wasn't harsh. It was about not allowing myself to be disrespected. By setting clear boundaries, I took control, and our relationship improved. We both knew what to expect and could thrive in a healthier space. That's the power of boundaries. Stoicism teaches us not to let others define our worth, and by setting boundaries, we take back our power. Letting people walk all over you gives them permission to disrespect you. But standing firm sends the message that you value yourself, and others should too. When a toxic woman disregards your time or feelings, don't let it slide. Let her know calmly that this behavior isn't acceptable. This isn't about being harsh. It's about being clear. Your time and energy matter, and you deserve respect. Consistency is key. If you don't stick to your boundaries, you send mixed signals. Boundaries aren't a one-time thing. They need maintenance. If you set a boundary today and let it slide tomorrow, you're not being consistent. People will start testing you. But when you stick to your boundaries, you not only protect yourself, but also show others how to treat you. By setting the standard, for respect, you tell the world, "This is who I am, and I won't settle for less than I deserve." The Stoic secrets around boundaries are simple but powerful. Protect your peace, set limits, and stand firm. This doesn't mean being rude or unforgiving. Stoicism is about patience, understanding, and emotional control. But it's also about not letting anyone push you beyond what feels right. Remember, it's not about being aggressive, it's about ensuring your well-being comes first. What boundaries do you need to set in your life to protect your peace of mind? Are you willing to stand firm even when it's uncomfortable? The more you practice this, the easier it will be to create a life surrounded by respect, where your needs and feelings are honored. You deserve that life, so take charge now. Setting boundaries isn't just a tactic for dealing with toxic people. It's a way of living according to your values. When you know your worth and uphold your boundaries, you honor the Stoic principle of self-respect. What boundaries do you need to put in place today to ensure you're living a life where you feel valued and respected? It's your life, your time, and your energy. Make sure they are protected. Number 6. Use silence as a powerful tool. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a situation where someone tried to pull you into an emotional drama just to watch you react? You know, the kind of person who thrives on stirring up trouble or making you feel guilty for things you didn't even do. It's exhausting, isn't it? Now, imagine for a moment that you chose silence instead of falling into that trap. You might think silence is weak, but in fact, it's one of the most powerful tools in Stoicism. When someone attempts to manipulate or guilt trip you, silence becomes your shield, protecting you from the emotional turmoil that they're trying to drag you into. I know, it sounds almost counterintuitive, right? But hear me out. The Stoics, think of thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, understood the power of silence in moments of conflict. They didn't see silence as a passive act, but as an intentional choice. By choosing not to engage in arguments or emotional provocations, you take control of your emotions, and more importantly, your peace of mind. A woman who tries to escalate a situation by blaming you, refusing to take responsibility, or pulling you into a petty argument is testing your ability to stay grounded. And here's the thing. When you engage with her emotional chaos, you lose control. But when you choose silence, you maintain your composure. You take back your power rather than handing it over in the form of reactive emotion. Silence in these situations doesn't mean you're being indifferent or cold. It's about creating space. Think of it as creating a pause that gives you time to breathe, reflect, and make a conscious decision on how you want to respond. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." Isn't that liberating? When you choose silence, you're no longer controlled by the drama around you. Instead, you're actively deciding how you want to be in that moment. You're choosing a response that's grounded in reason, not reaction. Have you ever tried using silence when someone is trying to manipulate you? How did it feel to step away from the noise and simply observe without getting caught up in the chaos? I can tell you from personal experience. It's incredibly freeing. It allows you to preserve your inner peace and hold on to your emotional independence. Imagine walking away from that argument without feeling drained, without giving away your energy to someone else's drama. That's the power of silence, something that modern Stoicism teaches us to use strategically in our lives. Now, I know silence isn't always easy. In fact, it can be downright uncomfortable. But when you start using it as a tool for emotional self-control, you begin to see the difference it makes in your life. By practicing silence, you create space between yourself and the emotional chaos. You become an observer, not a participant. You hold the reins of your emotional well-being, instead of letting someone else pull the strings. And over time, this becomes second nature. If you're being pulled into a cycle of drama or manipulation, I encourage you to try this next time. Choose silence. Allow yourself to step back and reflect. Don't be drawn into unnecessary conflict. Remember what the Stoics believed. It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. The next time a woman tries to provoke or manipulate you, consider how silence can break that cycle. In silence, you have control. You have peace. You have power. And that, my friend, is the true strength that comes from practicing modern Stoicism in your everyday life. What do you think? Are you ready to try using silence as your superpower? If you are ready to embrace silence as a tool for emotional independence, I want to hear from you. Share your commitment to practicing this Stoic secret with our community. Comment below with, "I choose silence," to show that you are taking the first step toward greater emotional control and peace of mind. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more inspiring content. Let's use silence as our superpower together. Now for the final lesson. Number 7. Seek support from a trusted community. Navigating a toxic relationship can often feel like a journey you must face alone, but that couldn't be further from the truth. When you're dealing with someone who exhibits toxic behavior, especially in the form of manipulation or emotional abuse, seeking support from those you trust becomes essential. In the midst of a toxic relationship, it's easy to become emotionally entangled, making it difficult to see things clearly. You might find yourself doubting your own feelings or perceptions, unsure of what's real or right. This is where a strong support network, whether it's family, friends, or a trusted community, becomes invaluable. It offers you a perspective outside of your emotional involvement, helping you make decisions that are rooted in clarity and self-preservation, rather than desperation or attachment. Stoicism offers a profound lesson here. We suffer more in imagination than in reality, said Seneca, and this rings especially true when you're stuck in a toxic dynamic. When emotions cloud your judgment, you may feel trapped, as though there's no way out. The Stoics, however, emphasize the importance of stepping back and gaining perspective. By surrounding yourself with wise and trustworthy individuals who have no personal stake in the situation, you are able to gain insights that are grounded in reason and logic. These people who care about you can offer invaluable advice and help you see the bigger picture, something you might miss when you're too close to the situation. They can help you recognize when a relationship is no longer serving your well-being and assist in guiding you toward decisions that prioritize your mental and emotional health. A supportive community can act as a beacon of light in the darkness, illuminating paths you may not have considered and offering the strength to break free from a toxic relationship. The Stoic secrets here lie in the ability to detach yourself emotionally and allow others to provide the clarity you might lack. Wisdom from those who see things from a distance allows you to approach the relationship from a rational perspective, rather than one clouded by emotional attachment. As Marcus Aurelius said, "A man is not harmed by what happens, but by his opinion of what happens." Therefore, having the right support system ensures that your opinions and judgments are shaped by reason, not by the weight of confusion and emotional manipulation. Taking the step to confide in others is not a sign of weakness, but a step towards self-care and strength. When you're emotionally invested in a toxic relationship, it can be incredibly challenging to break free from the cycle. However, through the Stoic practice of seeking counsel and not isolating yourself, you can make decisions that are healthier for your well-being. Your community, whether close family or wise friends, can help you gain the objectivity necessary to see when it's time to walk away from a situation that no longer nurtures your growth. They can offer you fresh perspectives on boundaries, emotional health, and self-respect, reminding you of your worth and reinforcing the importance of prioritizing yourself. In modern life, relationships often test our limits, but with the support of a trusted network, you don't have to face these trials alone. By turning to those who have your best interests at heart, you allow yourself to step out of the fog of emotional confusion and into the clarity of Stoic wisdom. Reach out for support when you need it, and remember that the Stoic secrets are not about enduring pain in isolation, but about using the wisdom of others to guide you toward peace and clarity. In doing so, you empower yourself to make decisions rooted in self-respect, free from the toxic influence of others. In conclusion, recognizing the signs of a toxic or evil woman in your life is crucial for protecting your peace and emotional well-being. By applying modern Stoicism, focusing on what you can control, setting boundaries, and staying emotionally detached, you can avoid the draining effects of toxic relationships. Remember, relationships should uplift and empower you, not manipulate you. By practicing Stoic secrets, maintaining self-respect, and prioritizing your values, you'll build healthier, more fulfilling connections. If you're facing a toxic relationship, take action, reassess, and stay true to yourself. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life. Turn on notifications so you never miss our latest videos filled with powerful Stoic wisdom.